Hello, everyone. Welcome to the My Little Pony Drawing School weekly live critique stream. So that's not hard to say, actually, as long as you don't get too confused. How are you doing? How is everyone doing? Today, we seem to be missing a zombie. There's no zombie outbreak here today, and that's a problem for us. We really need to have our local zombie. But at the very least, we're here, and this random raccoon, me, is able to fill in for the zombie. And then we have a lion over here,
Rar,
and
ponies.
there's
I don't eat them. Don't worry.
yeah, ponies are friends, not food, and so are mice, like this one over here.
Squeak, squeak. I don't promise to not eat some ponies, but I'll try.
Just nibble and they're like, ow.
and fun fact that most people will not know, but we do draw-alongs on our server, and I found that our longest draw-along was 11 rounds. There we go.
Whoa.
I was correct.
Oh, see, I thought you were saying 11 hours. Like, okay.
It did go all day, to be fair.
We could. Oh yeah.
It might have been
I
11 hours.
I would like to do one for like a whole day of drawing. You can join in our silly drawing shenanigans in the MLPDS Discord server if you want to join, where you can also share art, get advice if you want it, and just join art discussion or just general silly discussion. But for those of you who have put art on the MLPDS Reddit and have not yet gotten critique, we're here for you. We have some art on the canvas already, so we're going to jump in and do that. Feel free to ask us questions if you have any, and critique others, and have fun. Then, ooh, my computer is being a bit silly, but we will soon go into the screen and be able to actually see the art once I find the right button to right click on. Why is it not working? Why is it being silly? There it is. Oops. Then I missed. I just straight up missed the button that time because I'm bad with the mouse. Okay, now we're doing it. Now we're cooking. Where's the pan tool? There it is. Okay, so first we've got this really cute sparkly pony. Look at this
All right.
adorable friend.
They are adorable, and they're by Mara Sund. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. The title is My OC, Glistening Hope. I'm not sure what cutie mark to give her. They have a little more they say down in the comments, and they say, I feel like there was always something off with the face. Feels a bit flat, but at the same time, I usually don't like how it looks when I shade it. Should I just keep working on shading, or am I overthinking it?
Yeah, I find shading oftentimes. I always get really scared by doing it, and then doing something like this, like if it's understated enough, then I find it works a lot better than trying. Like if you're doing a shading that's too broad, then you have to be very careful with it. But if it's very like understated like this, you can get away with just throwing it out. No one's gonna come to you and be like, I think the cell shading on the back leg is totally the wrong shape. Like people aren't gonna typically be critiquing with that level of detail from my personal experience. But yeah, I do think a little bit on the head just to bounce it out can work. You got some under the mane here, which is cool, but just a little something to help sort of balance the amount of shading would be good. So we can't really see it with the red line, but just a little something to.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. Okay, you can keep it.
There you go.
Well, I went over the line now because I was going to your. I was lining as if your red line was the line. A little bit over the nose. There we go. Just yeah, a little bit just to help. I'm not super great with the shape of the heads. When it comes to cell shading, I always struggle a little bit, but you can figure it out by looking at references. Hell yeah.
So I
Maybe a
don't
bit more
think
here as well. Sorry, continue.
I don't think you need shading. If you don't want to do shading, I don't think that would be.
Yeah, you don't
You don't
need
need it to make
shading.
the face feel like it has volume. I think it's more. Oh, the new layer and hide
Oh
the
yeah,
center.
my point wasn't that
Okay.
the face needs shading to be defined. It was just that the shading on the body there needs to be like an equal amount on the head,
Yeah.
rather than it looking thinner. Yeah.
So what I did, for example, like here, your head just goes kind of into the infinite. But if you follow the shape of the head, you'd have more of like this shape. And then your nose comes out. And another thing you can think of is that like your eye is quite here in the middle, and your ears just kind of floating here. But if you draw the side of the face, so like if you feel your own face, you kind of have like a flat side to your face. So
Oh,
if you put, yeah, you
sorry.
go.
Fluffy, the stream sound is lost. It's not on.
Oh my goodness! Why did that happen? Well, it's on now, and I have it recorded, so we can do some magic in post. But oops.
Well,
I
is it
don't.
recorded with sound or no?
Yes, I'm recording on the sound on a separate program, and I'm recording the stream on it. I don't know if that went off at some point, if it was on at the beginning. So I turned it on, and then I turned the stream on, and then I don't know, everything broke. That was weird. Sorry.
Yay for double recording
Yes.
the sound.
Thank goodness I decided. I was like, I'll just flick record on voice meter, just in case.
Apparently, it only broke on Firefox. Either way, we'll hope and pray.
Yeah.
So yeah, I draw the side where the side of the face would stay, and then I draw this line kind of to the middle of it, and like here's where the cheek would be, and then I connect the inner part of the ear here, and then the back part of the ear to the head, to the back of the head, which is better than on the other layer that I hid. And that's kind of what I think through when I'm trying to make it have shape despite not having any shading. To still have, like, still think of the planes of the face even without having any shading. Then when you line, you'll have more shape to it, more volume.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm just gonna quick peek back at the original again. Yeah, I think also I know Fluffy mentioned this already, but to give some more uh volume to the bottom of your face as well, just that little like a little triangle right under the chin, like I've drawn over to the right here. Just
Yeah.
something to kind of define where the kind of the chin does kind of go into the neck. No,
Hmm.
it's more the jaw, I should say. It's not so much the chin, it's the jaw. And there will be just that slight overlap there that'll give you a little cast
Yeah.
shadow because the head sits on top of the neck, so it's blocking the light, especially from this, which is like a top lit view of everything.
Yeah.
And even if the light is directly on it, it's still a spot that would kind of cut into the neck a bit, so you can give it some
Hmm.
definition there and have it not feel so
Yes.
flat. And that leans into what CPC was talking about with the more defined line art and just really figuring out where the things sit
Yeah.
on your head.
And like we have this shape here, where you can you've shown how the light is bending around the body a little bit, as if the light's being cast sort of just from above the character. So I sort of followed that here, where originally the shading, if I just turn off my layer, you can see where it's very sort of like rim. Oops, I just opened something. Where it's very like rimmed around the edge of the body, which gives us the impression that it's very flat. Whereas, so what I did was I just extended the shape to just have this little sort of cut off section on the hooves here, just to follow this, which you've done, just to make it feel more consistent, like the body is nice and round. And yeah, the same thing goes to the neck as well. Any other thoughts?
No, this is super cute, and we really appreciate the questions you asked. If you have more questions, please,
Mm-hmm.
please feel free. The only other thing, they're not sure what cutie mark to give her. I guess the last thing that we could
Ah,
give advice
yeah.
on.
They give a name, right? And do they give
Yes.
any special talent?
No, just that their name is Glistening Hope.
Hmm.
I mean,
They,
even
they,
the two,
they
depending on how
definitely feel like
complex you
they
want
should
to
be a
make.
unicorn with a name like that. Yeah, cutie marks are a whole thing because you got to think about like what the pony's sort of talent is, like how they discovered their sort of magical connection to Equestria, like what their destiny is, and then create like a clip art for their butt. So it's
Yeah, both
making cutie
platform. But
marks is a whole like art style of its own. Um, as to what I don't know. I think the white
You
on
can
its
even
own.
just put the little white thing on the
Yeah, I was
top, although
thinking of that,
that
but it's very like hard to see. So like maybe giving it like different
true.
colors related to
Maybe like
the
with
either using the main colors or using complementary ones to that perhaps. Like some sort of like blues and yellows could maybe fit well, but playing around with it and like shifting the hue, etc. Just like I would just like splotch some colors on there, and just shift around the colors, look what just feels right, and then think about what the image is using those colors. Um, so yeah, if you just like splotch some things on, it's like, oh, yellow, maybe some complementary blue. Then how do we feel about this? Maybe the blue's a bit more sort of like this. Who knows? And you can just sort of play around with what the colors feel like, and like yeah, maybe not that. It helps to. Yeah, oh look, we've got some like color palette work preparing on the right.
I'm just gonna draw the same one.
Ah.
Ooh, pretty.
This is with the main colors, and then
Uh-huh.
this is very simple, but you can always just like lock your layer and try different colors if you're doing something more complex. And what I like doing, because I like designing my cutie marks in a separate layer, I usually do this where I do like a big splotch of the body color, just start a new canvas and just make the background color the color of your pony. So then you're already working with colors that will work nice with your pony instead of making a cutie
Mm-hmm.
mark you really love and then it just disappears into your
Yeah.
pony's butt.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, cute stuff, and I hope we see more art from you in the future. Think we're ready to move on? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, thank you. Join us again. Okay, so moving on. Where is I've lost the window. There it is. Ba-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Look at this friend. What a pony. This is a very interesting design. Do we have any information on this one, Ali?
So this is by Stinky Toad. And this is they just say reference for my fave pony OC so far. And I don't believe there's anything else written here. So yeah, my first thing would say, give us questions, ask some questions. Why is it that you are seeking critique on this hopefully lovely day for you? Anything you felt like you struggled with, anything you want to do better, or things that
Mm,
you know feel like you did good at but aren't sure of where you could go
yeah,
next.
it
Those kind of things. We love
helps us a lot
questions.
to know how to help you the best, how to work with you. I love the anatomy in this picture.
Hmm. It's always fun to see that like very horsey face. I really love the ears. I think that's my fave, and also the pose back here with the back legs.
I
I just
didn't
love
need
that
to
tilt.
didn't need to erase the back like that. I was just trying a different pose. So what if
Oh,
it's sort of
sorry.
that was what
I
it
do
Oh,
was
think
oh,
yours
pulled
is a little bit more dynamic than the just like having a
back.
leg neck right
I was
next.
like, what if it's pulled back a little bit?
I did a little change in the back legs. I'm turning it on and off right now. Just
Ooh,
splitting them a
yeah.
bit so they don't mix into each other because the turn of the fluff is right on the same turn as the leg does. So they kind of merge together in that area.
Yeah, when things in art do that kind of stuff, it's called a tangent. So if you want to look into that further, yeah, just when things kind of like lead into each other and then make a thing look like it's not supposed to look like, all that
Yeah.
kind of fun stuff.
Can I see you?
Tangents are all over art.
Can I see you turning it on and off again, CPC, just for comparison?
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Yeah, I can
original one.
yeah, I can definitely see where the improvement is. Yeah,
I did make this in a separate layer because it's difficult to see the original, so I just could
yeah.
not show it properly without erasing that little bit there.
Mm-hmm. It's Yeah, tangents are definitely a tricky thing. It's like it's hard to really know exactly when they might form because there are different ways that they can form. But it is a tricky thing, especially with when it comes to patterns. Like the stripes in this character
I
could
would,
potentially end up forming
yeah, I
tangents
would also
depending.
change this stripe here because it just looks like it. Oh god, this is not the right tool. So like this stripe here just looks like it goes
Yes,
all
it
the way
does.
through.
This is the exact problem I have drawing snakes. Is where like on the body where it's like it like doubles back on itself, all curled up, with like the spots end up like meeting, and they can sometimes cause tangents if you're not careful. Yeah,
Sometimes you just have
I
to go. Oh yeah, this was supposed to be here, but it just can't be there because it's gonna
yeah,
cause a
as
tangent.
long as it's
It'll look
split up.
wrong.
And to be fair, the way they're bending around the sort of event horizon of the leg, you could have them squash it a little bit, and it's fine. And so I believe you guys had some thoughts on the sort of consistency of the design regarding the little thing in the back. I'm not sure if that's meant to be like just like a color palette or that they were working with for the design, or whether that's meant to be a different version of the OC or something. But you
Mm-hmm.
were talking about the
This
leg
is this is
patterns.
like yeah, this is the very nitpicky part, I think. We wish you were here so we could ask you some of these questions. But so this is a reference sheet for your OC. So I look at this as an artist and I'm like, okay, I see this. I can see how this is like a fun little chibi version. But then I really look at it, and as an artist, if I were to get a commission and draw this pony, I'd start to question things like, oh, the smaller pony is someone's already doing the circle. Fantastic. The nose is red on the chibi one, but not on the main character. The whole head's covered on the chibi one, but not on the main character. The back legs have nothing on the chibi one, but they do on the main character. So these kind of discrepancies. Oh, and of course the makeup. The makeup colors are switched between the two as well. These kind of discrepancies. Now maybe you could be doing this as a form of like, oh, they can look either way. That's great and that's fine. Maybe have some sort of verbal indicator or like text indicator to say as
Yeah.
such. Because to me, it's just a smidge confusing to know which one to follow. And reference sheets are so important in that like the information
Hmm.
kind of has to be not, quote unquote perfect so people can know and understand your design correctly. And that way, you don't get something you don't want, or you have a reference that's very clear. Clarity is important in a reference, I'd say.
It certainly is.
I'm just showing a bit what I would like little texts that I can sometimes I will sometimes add to the character, and this might not be applicable for yours, but for example, if I have a detail that I really want people to always draw, for example, I noticed that the flower is on both, so I would put a little line towards it, being like, "Don't forget this detail. It's easy to miss. Please include it." Or when there's things that you don't mind changing. For example, I have my panda character and she has glasses on her ref, but I don't need them to be there all the time. If you don't want to draw glasses, you don't have to draw them. So I write that on the character ref so people know that that's an optional
Mm.
detail.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I see it a lot with, for example, leopard characters. You'll have like a few spots that are essential and they really need to be in that order. So people will like put a little arrow towards it and be like, don't forget the heart. The rest of the spots are changeable. And that's always very nice information to have as an artist, to know which parts of your character make it feel like your character for you, and which parts,
I
like, I'm not
didn't
gonna make exactly every spot on a leopard. I'll never finish.
I had see I used to have a leopard character amongst my other Pharisees, and I'd like never considered the idea that it's allowed to be inconsistent. Like when in fact I was drawing a character that had a bunch of like scars on a pony character, and only like after the fact did like at some point in the chat they're like, oh yeah, this one and this one are essential. The rest are like they can be wherever. And me and another artist who both had like painstakingly drawn all of them exactly the same were like, what? What do you mean it's optional?
Oh no.
But
Mm.
yeah, it's that kind of information that helps artists to know what they're doing, and helps you to be more consistent as well.
1000%. one other thing I'd think about doing is, and this is optional, but add a spot just for the cutie mark to exist by itself, maybe blown up, because I can't, like, I'm not sure, I couldn't color pick safely the confetti on it because of the image size and the crunchiness that can happen sometimes when you share images across the internet. But something
I
you
would
can do is,
recommend. I like to include like as big as I can, a nice big like just PNG of it with a transparent area around it so it can be color picked, and preferably just offer the PNG as a separate file of the cutie mark. So like artists who don't want to have to draw it every time can just like shove it on and mesh it onto the body, because the cutie mark can be done that way. It's absolutely fine to do it because
Yeah.
they're kind of like an interesting style thing.
Like, of course, it depends from artist to artist what they're comfortable with, but I do always offer, when I design someone's character or make a reference for them, I always offer the commissioner a big PNG that they can just give to artists.
Oh, I do that as well.
mm-hmm.
I did that in the last couple of your characters.
And one other small thing, I see you've opted to do a shaded reference, which is fine. I know some people like to do those, but have a option to color pick for people who don't want to accidentally get the shaded colors color picked. So over here, I just drew some circles, and you can do whatever kind of. You look at all sorts of reference sheets. There's so many different creative, fun ways to display what colors you have. I just kind of, like I said, threw down circles. But as long as there's something solid to work with for someone to color pick from, so they don't accidentally get like the soft shaded color versus the hard, like, the shadow versus the, if there's a blended area, you can also
A
demonstrate a
gradient.
blend between, yeah, gradient. Just something for ease of use. Just grab and go kind of color picking.
Yeah, this is what I usually do. I like doing this one.
Yeah, that seems
Same,
sensible.
same.
I've been doing it like different ways every time. Usually, what I do is like I get a layer and I have like a black outline and I just do circles, because I used to do that where I'd have to make the circle and then copy and paste it and fill underneath. And now I'm like, oh, I could just use the layer outline, and I just paste the thing. But sometimes I want to have like interesting shapes.
I'm more
Yeah,
than
there's for
welcome.
sure lots of like cool ways to do it. There's so many reference sheets out there with so many interesting ways to do it. I really highly encourage just like
Yeah.
browsing through characters, like go through Toy House or Art Fight or something, and there's just reference sheets galore there, and you can just get inspired on what to add to yours.
Well, any other thoughts?
Um,
Of
no,
course.
it's fun horse, clown horse, fun clown horse.
Fun horse.
Yes. Okay, well, unless anyone else has any other questions they'd like to ask or any other pictures they'd like to submit to us, I'm not seeing any in the chat other than Aurelia saying you're awesome. No, you.
I think that was from last week.
Well, still, just a delay response. Well, with that, I think we're going to call it a day. Thank you, everyone.
Woo! Good show, good arts.
Yeah, feel free to join our Discord for chats. Submit more art to the subreddits. Show us how it goes. Show us how you grow. Show us how changes you make. We love to see like the development of people that get our advice if it ever happens. Um, so yeah, by all means, like check in and tell us how things are going. And we'll see you later. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.